Welcome back to Wi-Fi AM at Yahoo Finance. Time has named its 2019 Person of the Year. It's Greta Thunberg. There she is on the cover, the Swedish teen climate change activist. At 16, she is the youngest Time Person of the Year in Time's history. And here to discuss the choice is senior editor Haley Edwards. Hi, Haley. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us about the choice here, because I know Time always releases like the finalists, and you saw a lot of chatter over the last few days, people saying it should be the Hong Kong protesters, or it should be this person, or of course many people joking it should be Baby Yoda. That wasn't going to happen. But tell us about choosing Greta Thunberg.
Well, inside the office, it's always this big discussion. It starts in early fall, late summer, where we have this giant meeting and everyone presents who they think it should be. And there are probably 30, 40 people on that list. Actually, I think Baby Yoda maybe made the list sort of briefly.
Wow, we're breaking news here.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, everyone you can think of and all these different genres. And then there's a discussion, an internal discussion inside the magazine. And they actually launch different teams of reporters on a bunch of the different topics that they think are going to be front runners. And a lot of people in the newsroom don't even know what the choice is going to be until the very end. So, yeah.
So what's the criteria to make Person of the Year? Because Time has chosen some pretty controversial figures in the past, like Adolf Hitler, Trump was Person of the Year in 2016. So what does it take to make it?
So it is the person who is most influential on the world that year. And it kind of is born of a great man theory that it's one individual person who can shape the world. And that is, sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. We have had, as you mentioned, Hitler, Putin, world leaders who you would not want to honor necessarily. It's, you're just really looking at influence. And with Greta, she's 16 years old. She just, by sheer force of will, she walked out there, skipped school, sat down, and 14 months later, there are 7 million people out climate striking, which is,
And did this feel like a political choice at all? I mean, there are those out there who on Twitter and social media get angry about Greta Thunberg, obviously. I mean, everyone gets angry about everything, but they may not like the choice. Did this feel like a more or less controversial one than some of the others you considered?
It felt, one thing about climate change is it shouldn't be controversial. It shouldn't be political. It's like, climate change is happening. The science is very, very obvious. It's happening. So what do we do about it? It shouldn't be something that is like, if you're conservative, you disagree with this. And so I think that's kind of the way we went forward, that the science is very present, and how do we talk about it?
So Time also named Business Person of the Year. Disney CEO Bob Iger was chosen. So tell us a little bit about that choice and some of the other candidates that were on the list, actually.
Right, yeah. So Bob Iger, he's just sort of the top of this incredible organization in an incredible year. The first day that Disney Plus launched, it got 10 million subscribers. Disney's going to be the first studio that releases 5 movies in 1 year that each hit top a billion. That's it. Yep. And Iger himself is had a New York Times bestseller this year. I mean, he's sort of at the top of his game.
Who else were some of the contenders against Iger?
It's always just like such a debate inside the newsroom that I can't remember specifics, but it was when you look at the business landscape right now, one of the things that we wanted to get to was this is a time when big tech, big business, they're all kind of under attack from different perspectives. And
it wasn't going to be Mark Zuckerberg.
It wasn't going to be Zuckerberg, and we were probably not going to choose, Bezos or something, because he's obviously been on our cover before.
I love how you guys included Baby Yoda, though, in the
photo. It was a little bit weird.
No, that's the new CFO of Disney, is Baby Yoda.
I thought the picture was a little...
Right. Yeah. And I want to make sure we fit this in. You guys also do a Entertainer of the Year.
Lizzo.
I totally agree with that choice. I love her.
She's incredible.
She's so incredibly influential.
She's had a big year.
She has had a huge year.
And we had an Athlete of the Year, U.S. girls soccer team.
Oh, look at that. Okay. And former sister publication SI going a similar route. Megan Rapinoe, the SI Athlete of the Year, Sports Person of the Year.
Incredible athletes. And then our Guardian of the Year was the public servants who testified before Congress this year during the impeachment proceeding.
Wow.
So, I know you said that these choices aren't meant to be political, but I mean, actually, you can include Iger in this list, but Lizzo aside, honestly, it seems like all of these people or groups of people have in some way been involved in a political conversation.
Well, the public
going on.
servants.
Well, of course, the public servants, but even the U.S. women's soccer team
Yep,
with gender pay disparities. Bob Iger, I think, even mentioned
In his book.
Exactly.
He said, yep, I considered running for president.
Exactly. So, I mean, how much does politics actually really work its way into these discussions?
You know, I think we live in such political times. Like, how do you do anything that doesn't feel, grocery shopping feels political now, you know? Like, you guys were just talking about going Christmas shopping for kids. That feels political in this weird way. There's nothing you can do now that doesn't feel like it's playing into this conversation. I mean, we're living in historical times. We are living through, the impeachment proceeding of a president. Like, all of these things are huge. You can't really sidestep that.
Most of the people on that list notably have drawn the ire of the president. I feel like
Iger and ire, themes of the day. All right, Haley, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.
Appreciate it.